What do you tell the boy things like that for? Here you go, son.
Thanks, Daddy.
In fact, here's another 50 cents. Get yourself some fruit or something, or take a taxi cab to school, you know what I mean?
Hot dog!
A Raisin in the Sun is the story of the Younger family. As the play begins, the father has died. They have a life insurance check from him. The mother of the family, Mrs. Younger, Lena Younger, and her husband had both migrated from the Deep South and had spent years toiling. When the play begins, Mrs. Younger is still working as a domestic. And in the household are her son and daughter and grandson and daughter-in-law. And what they're trying to do is figure out what to do with the insurance check.
Open it.
Travis, is that the right amount of zeros?
Yes'm. $10,000. Golly, Grandma, you're rich.
Everybody has different sort of desires and aspirations, and what you see is a family drama over what to do with the check. And that itself shows a sort of complicated dynamics of both the frustrations of social exclusion, but also how hope is shaped by generation and gender and identities and all sorts of things.
All I want is to make a future for this family. All I want is to be able to stand in front of my boy like my father never was able to do to me, and tell him that he'll be somebody in this world besides a servant and a chauffeur. Huh? You tell me that, huh?
On the one hand, it depicts the life that resulted for Black Americans because of the Great Migration, right? What it meant to leave the Deep South, go to the urban North, and encounter new forms of discrimination and exclusion. But at the same time, it appears really in the midst of a growing civil rights movement. So this is soon, a couple of years after the Brown v. Board of Education opinion has been decided, which declares school segregation unconstitutional. A couple of years after the Montgomery bus boycott in Montgomery, Alabama. And so the nation's attention was drawn to the question of racial inequality, particularly in the Deep South, but there hadn't been a kind of comparable attention to what was happening in northern cities. So Raisin in the Sun both kind of capitalizes on the moment in terms of how people were thinking about racial inequality and exclusion, but also draws attention to another region and the way that this was not simply a problem of the southern United States, but really a national issue.
See? The man say to his woman, I got me a dream. She says, eat your eggs, they getting cold.